So Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and that movie is filming right now. I believe they're on a little bit of a break, though. And there were some comments made by Tom Holland recently that are, I don't know. I think they're pretty interesting. So let's pull this up and let's talk about what he said. And let's also, like, I guess we could sort of still man it. We could say, like, what's about this? We could say maybe bad about this. And we kind of see. Also, are we glitching here? Is this thing glitching? What the heck? What the heck's going on with this stream? Are we still live? What the hell? All right. A little laggy? A little laggy? Was there a little lag there? Damn. Okay. Hopefully it fixes itself. Okay. So let's go over what he said here. It says, Tom Holland states his big focus on fans wants for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Really interesting quote. I have been actively sifting through the internet. Scary. And trying to best understand what it is that the fans want from a Spider-Man movie. Also scary. And that's been my driving force in these pitch meetings. I think the producers at times were like absolutely sick of me. But I think it's really important because we make these movies for the fans. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's read this again. Really let this kind of sink into your brain parts, okay? He says, I have been actively sifting through the internet and trying to best understand what it is the fans want from a Spider-Man movie. And that's been my driving force in these pitch meetings. I think the producers at times were like absolutely sick of me. But I think it's really important because we make these movies for the fans. Okay, now. Oh, on the one hand, like, sure, like, hell yeah, dude, that it sounds right. And by the way, would love to know, throw a 1 into the chat if you feel like this is just such a great response from Tom Holland. Throw a 1 into the chat, guys, if you think he's right, okay? I would say on the surface level, sure, this is a positive thing to say. And he's absolutely right that the fans are who you make the movie for. And I see a lot of 1s in the chat. Like, people are agreeing with Tom and thinking that it's a really good thing. But I would say that there's a couple of dangers in this concept and in this idea. First of all, I'm reminded just a little bit of the Rise of Skywalker, okay? There were a lot of memes that came out after the Rise of Skywalker, which basically were written and directed by Reddit. And like, dead ass, that movie's weird because all of these things that Star Wars fans were complaining about with The Last Jedi for years were sort of retconned or undone by that movie, right? And so, like, literally, like, the 1 in a million of when the purple lady did that thing, that maneuver's a 1 in a million. Nobody would really try that shit again. Like, all sorts of stuff, man. Dude, I'd have to, like, go back and look at the list of all of the little things that Rise of Skywalker undoes in its film. But, yeah, I think that even the lightsaber thing, they do that. That's no way to treat a Jedi's weapon. It's like, what the fuck, bro? So anyway, the point is this. If you're sifting through the internet to try to find out what fans want, that's a very dangerous fucking game. And I think it's a game that executives and people at Hollywood are already doing, right? So it's like weird that he would say, I've been actively sifting through the internet, trying best to think of what fans want from a Spider-Man movie. I wonder, what does that even mean, right? Like, does that mean he's watching YouTube videos? Does that mean he's going on Reddit? Like, what do you think that means, chat, right? Because, sure, maybe it's Reddit, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's just social media in general, TikTok, YouTube videos, you know, stuff like that. That could certainly be. Here's the other problem, though. Here's the other problem. He's talking about Spider-Man fans, and there's a meme about Spider-Man fans that Spider-Man fans don't even like Spider-Man. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but that's like the reputation that the Spider-Man fandom has. They literally have the reputation of being like one of the most finicky, terrible fandoms that there is online. The Twitter, like Spider-Man Twitter, has basically been shitting on every Spider-Man comic, other than maybe the Ultimates run recently, for the past 10 years. Like 10 years. So they're a fandom like I see all sorts of red flags here from Tom. As somebody that's out here in the trenches with these Spider-Man fans, dude, they don't even like Spider-Man. They don't even know what they want. Like, okay, so let's some examples of this, right? Let's talk about the multiversal versus the street level. Okay? I would imagine, like, just based off of some of the things that are out there, you know, with some of the scoopers, the insiders, and the conversations on Twitter, it seemed like a lot of the fans would prefer a street-level Spider-Man as opposed to a multiversal Spider-Man, right? Like, we can basically agree with that. Do you agree with that, chat? If you were to just look out there on the internet and basically, let's just pretend we're Tom Holland. Okay, let's pretend we're Tom Holland and we're smashing a couple of bureaus. What are we thinking? We're going online and we're probably seeing, oh, wow, a bunch of the fans probably want street level Spider-Man. But is that really what the fans want? Again, if you look at the evidence of the most popular and most successful Marvel movies of the past 4 to 5 years, they're all multiversal. Spider-Man No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine, Multiverse of Madness, Across the Spider-Verse, right? Like, these are all multiversal movies. So, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm just saying, like, maybe you think, oh, let's do, like, a street-level one because a bunch of Spider-Man fans... Like, I guess what I'm saying is this. I'm a little worried that Tom... Because, look, he's admitted to, like, you know, having anxiety and, like, being online a little bit too much here and there, and then that's connected to maybe the drinking stuff. And I'm not trying to get parasocial or weird about it, but, like, there's a part of me that's like, dude, is this dude, like, just listening to a bunch of whiny internet bitches that complain about all this sort of stuff? Because Spider-Man No Way Home, just like Deadpool, had this sort of second opinion form about it after we went through this big hype cycle. And a bunch of people started, like, saying, oh, Spider-Man No Way Home isn't that great of a movie. It's all slop, like this, that, second, and the third. And that's bullshit, dude. That movie's great. And yes, it's multiversal. And yes, there is some rough edges here and there. But that movie's way better than Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, let's just be real. So I'm a little worried that, like, Tom is out here on the internet listening to, like, frankly, some of the worst motherfuckers on the internet, a bunch of anime profile pic and on idiots on Twitter, on Reddit, spelling and just spilling out the most fucking ridiculous ass bullshit nonsense that there ever was. No, Tom, no! Tom, no! Don't listen to him. Listen to me! Listen to me! Okay, so that's part of it, right? Like, I get a little worried about that shit, man. Seriously, like, these fans are terrible. Like, there's just a lot of, like, terrible, mindless takes out there from a bunch of fans, and I would just, like, say, like, please don't listen to these fucking people, bro. So that's one thing I'm a little bit worried about. Now, to flip it on its head, though, like, to try to be positive, maybe we can end this segment on some a positive note. There is some stuff out here that seems to be fan-oriented that I think is good. One thing that's really interesting is the suit itself, right? Practical suit. And having, like, a really, really good, really cool practical suit. That was something that fans wanted. And so it is cool that is being brought in. And so maybe that, okay, we're working. That makes sense. Practical effects for the action seems like a good bet. It seems like people are a little sick of the CGI stuff. And if you're looking at No Way Home and saying maybe some of the CGI stuff was a little too much and it just wasn't real enough, to flip that on its head and to go with some actual crazy choreographed action and to spend money on practical sets and action, sure, you know, that's a really good way to do it. Yeah, so I think that it's one of those things where, like, look, on the surface level, he's, number one, totally saying the right thing. And I think even if he's maybe listening to the wrong people online, this is the right thing to say. And so most people are going to give him a lot of credit for this and feel like he's being a good ambassador for the brand. He's taking care of the fans, which is true. But I would just say, like, dude, scouring the internet, especially to look at what Spider-Man fans have to say, that feels like not the right thing to do, okay? And it sort of takes me, though, to another idea. And seriously, to take it back to the last, or to the Rise of Skywalker example, I do think Hollywood and just in general, franchises and IP, they run the risk often of this whole concept of like fan service or doing what the fans want in sort of a mindless way that is not appropriate. Okay? And I forget who said it, but there was this famous person that said, you have to give them what they didn't know they wanted. Any brilliant people in chat know where that quote came from? I forget who said it, but I think that's like the thing. You actually can't just give the fans like what the standard internet conversation says is the thing. That is not actually the way to get audiences engaged and really, really excited. Was it Steve Jobs that said that? He was a pretty smart guy. The point being, you do respect what the audience wants, but you can't let the audience dictate what it is. That's not like really creation and art, and there's nothing novel within that. So obviously the audience must be considered. Another way to say it is like the conductor must turn their back on the audience to make the music, right? Like there's just a lot of ways to think about it. If you're just filling out like a Mad Lib AI chat GPT type prompt of like, what do fans want from a Spider-Man movie? Like, that's just not going to do it. You have to find a way to exceed the expectations, to sort of find the spirit of what is desired and deliver it in such a way as to be different, unique, and give them something they didn't even realize was the thing that they wanted. That's great art. So, I don't know. I mean, again, this is probably a good comment. And you know what? Sometimes you guys accuse me of overthinking it. Maybe in this case, I am actually overthinking it. But these comments did blow up. And a lot of people are talking about this and praising it. And I guess just as like a note of caution here, I want to be like, yeah, but let's fucking reel that shit in. Like, let's not Rise of Skywalker this, please. You know, it has to have its own drum beat. You know, it has to have its own thing. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I'm crazy? Am I overthinking it? What do you think, chap? George Lucas said that too. Interesting. Yeah. It's possible you're overthinking this. I think he means the smarter, more realistic fans, not the soy jack NPC fans. Sure. Maybe. Yeah. The general audience is dumb as fuck. I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say that. You said that. I didn't say it. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. You shouldn't be a slave to the fans, but the content should appeal to them. Yeah. So, like, look, Star Wars has this problem because at the end of the day, like, yes, like, you know, a young Luke show or like a Darth Vader, this, that, second, and the third, would that be awesome? Like, sure. Like, yes. But, like, I think Star Wars has gone to the point where, like, there needs to be something more than that. Like, I saw this random post pop up on Reddit where apparently there's a new Star Wars book that has Vader and the Emperor at odds, like an actual like novel, and it literally made me cringe. Whereas like maybe years ago that would have been cool or whatever, but dude, don't just give me the like, oh, here's standard chat GPT, what do fans like? Oh, Darth Vader and Luke. It's like, I'm gonna need more than that. You know what I mean? I'm going to need a little more than that. Corey says, RDJ makes $100 million for Doom with people struggling. Is that justified? Jesus Christ, dude. What a stupid question. Is any performance worth that kind of money? General thoughts on actor pay. My general thoughts are, your question sucks, bro. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but that question sucks ass. That's a fucking stupid, silly, weird question. I wish we lived in a perfect utopia world where everybody had everything. And how's Tom going to find with these smart fans? Wait, what? LOL, Disney wasn't going to donate $100 million to anyone in question. Is Oh, dude, yeah, no, they definitely would have. They would have put that 100 million to good use somewhere else. 100%, bro. That's why I like TLJ, but it split the fandom, so I really think you have to balance it out. No, that's absolutely, so that's a great point. Like, Star Wars is almost this perfect example of how both can be bad, right? Because if you do too much, right, if you're like at the end of the day, you know what's crazy, dude? You know what's crazy? So, like, I truly believe that James Gunn really dialed it back for Superman. Part of the reason I really love the Superman movie is that I just respect that he kind of dialed it back and didn't gun all over it. Now, there's a lot of gun on that. But I think especially for the character of Clark, he dialed it back, right? If a similar thing had been done with Rian Johnson, if Rian Johnson had been tasked or maybe just kind of guided, just pulled back a little bit more, it might have been okay. Because, like, dude, look, here's the things that I would say about Last Jedi. That mom joke's gotta go, which apparently Ryan fought for that mom joke, dude. It would have come to fucking blows with me. If I was the president of fucking, I'd be like, okay, seems like you really want this. Square up. He'd be like, what? And I'd be like, boom, boom, you know? It would come to blows. But anyway, point is, I would cut that. No mom joke at the beginning. The goofy-ass Leia scene in the middle. Nope, get that shit out of here. Luke does not die. We do not force the romance. Rey takes Kylo's hand and leaves. Luke's still alive. Have I mentioned that Luke does not die? What else? There's a couple other things. Maybe the Canto Bight, just strip it. You know, get Canto Bight out of here. And then, like, maybe you have, like, a decent Star Wars movie. Especially if Luke didn't die. You know? So, you know, I think that's actually a possibility where, like, if you would have just rein that dude in just a little bit, bro. Just a little bit. Then all of a sudden, I think you're looking at a much better movie there. Doug a Ditch says with a 10 spot, Part 1, you're Spider-Man. Green Goblin has captured Kathleen Kennedy and James Gunn, and you can only save one of them. KK says she'll leave Lucasfilm immediately if you save her. Uh-oh. What's the other part of this? Y'all gonna get me in trouble. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. I already know my answer, too, by the way. The leaked script for Duel of the Fates movie was just hands down the greatest I've read. It was much better than what we got, for sure. Part 2, Gunn vows he'll never direct any future Batman movies if you save him. Who do you save? And before you say it, no, you're not allowed to let them both die. Okay, but I already have my answer, okay? Ready? So you know how in the new Marvel Zombies show that Peter rips off like a dozen people's heads at the same time? I'd go for 3 for 1. Three for 1. Goblin, KK, and Gunn, all 3 of them. Pop, 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 pop. And technically, you said I couldn't let them both die. You didn't say anything about actually murdering all 3 of them. Yeah. It feels like Spidey 4 rage is the theme. It'll be Punisher and Spidey dealing with their rage issues. Sounds like they have to deal with Chad in different ways until they team up the physical embodiment of rage with the Hulk. Yeah, something like that, maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe something like that, yeah. Look, it's a hypothetical anyways, guys, you know? It's a hypothetical anyways. Calm down. And by the way, can we just take a moment here to understand how much of a better question that is than this other guy of like, blah, 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 they paid this guy. Like, come on, man. Like, one is like, hey, we're having a good time. Let's fuck around. The other one is like, should we actually get serious about the state of the world for a second? I actually would like to interrupt the escapism, and I'd like to drill down on some real topics. Oh, really? Is that what it is? Are you kidding me? The MCU? Nah, might have started it, but he doesn't deserve 100 million. God, Josh gets emotional when asked serious questions. No, I just think it's stupid to try to bring up a serious question on a channel called The Den of Nerds, where we talk about nerdy shit. I mean, like, dead ass. Like, you know, I had this conversation with my stepdad the other day. He was asking about, because we were talking about politics, and I was like, you know, I was just giving him all my takes, which I never tell you guys because you couldn't handle it, because I have all the best takes and everybody else is fucking wrong. Anyways, the point is this. My stepdad was like, well, why don't you talk about politics? He's like, it seems like there'd be a lot of money in that. You obviously know what you're talking about, et cetera, et cetera. And I said, you know what this comes down to, sir? It comes down to, what kind of a life do you want to have? Do you want to spend every day talking about the topics that are the most triggering and emotional and real for all kinds of people, and gestate in drama and tension for your whole fucking life? Or would you rather talk about Spider-Man? I'll take Spider-Man! And if you think making that choice is the wrong choice, or maybe the less smart choice, you're dumb. You're dumb. Not me. I made the right choice. I chose wisely. Your ass is going to be like, ugh, and melt away, because that's not the right cup. Anyway. Josh, is there a way Star Wars can fix it by doing real 7, 8, and 9 trilogy that takes place? No, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen, man. I think the best case scenario is Levy's movie is cool. Maybe they build some stuff with like Filoni's stuff and all that sort of stuff. And then maybe Simon Kinberg's Rey trilogy is lit. Maybe it's the best. But other than that, no, we're totally cooked. And maybe there'd be the occasional good project, and we could get excited about that, but really it's all about Warhammer, baby. Yeah. There's no Star Wars redo. All we can do is move on, I'm afraid. Yeah, for sure. I think that's probably the way to do it. Okay, let's end this segment here. Can't believe that Tom Holland said this.